Hi, it's Hans at happierman.com. Today's topic is focus on you and not so much on everyone else. I kind of talk about this in other videos and articles, and it bears repeating because this is one of the biggest problems that people have is they start thinking about the outside world, other people, people in charge, the situation, the circumstances. When you start thinking about all those things that you have no control over, it's very easy to get fearful, full of anxiety, worry, depressed. That's why you don't want to do it. That's right, because the nature of all of that stuff outside of your control is depressing and worrisome, and you get nowhere thinking about that stuff when you have it. But on the converse, you have enormous control over your life, and you have very, very, very limited ability to control the big world. I like to consider this, my world is like small, and the things that I can do, I can affect things in a small way around, in a bubble around me. And by doing so, that makes my life really good, and it makes the people, it doesn't make the people around me life really good. It gives them help. If I'm helping my kids, that makes their life a little better. And then if they're doing the same thing I'm doing, their life goes up. And if they can count on their father to kind of help them and guide them and love them unconditionally and give them a hand where I can, their life has a potential to go higher. But if you think of it we've got the COVID, right? So now you're worried about it, right? Are you going to die? Is somebody you love going to get sick and die? What then, right? You're worried about the results of the election. Well, we had the election, but the results are still kind of in a state of flux. So you're worried about that. If your candidate doesn't win or does win, or what does all that mean, right? You'll hear terms like the Great Reset and a dark winter. Well, these are just words, right? These are just words that the people at the top like to throw around to try to get us afraid. Where I come from in the Midwest, every winter has been dark. Every single stinking one of them has been a dark, dreary, miserable winter. It's no different this year. Even though it's nice today, it will be winter soon enough. And just because some winters are a little bit milder than others doesn't mean that the next one won't be terrible, or that there'll be times within a mild winter that are just absolutely horrible. So when I hear stuff like a dark winter, that's just nonsense talk from people thinking they know everything. It's always a dark winter if you live in a climate where the winter comes, right? Now, if you live in a southern climate around the equator and whatnot, it doesn't become winter, so it's nothing for you to worry about. But, I think what they're implying is the COVID is going to get worse and everything is going to get terrible. But, I think that's just more fear mongering. And if you don't live your life by fear, it's much easier to become happier and not filled with anxiety and worry and depression. So I'm encouraging you not to do that. Try to turn off all of that stuff, any words that seem like they're meant to make you fearful. I wouldn't give them any mind. I'm kind of prepping myself. My mom is 80, and I talk to her nearly every day on the phone. And when you're 80, when you get up there in age, you spend a lot of time looking at the TV and listening to all that, and and I'm sure she's going to start she's afraid, and she's fine, actually. She's fine. She's been healthy. She's made it through so far, and that's what I'm trying to point out to her, that she's fine so far. You're probably going to continue to be fine. She's probably got quite a few years left, the way it looks like to me, and good years. And so, kind of prepping myself that she'll probably start saying this dark winter term pretty soon, because it'll be in the news a lot. It'll be in the news a lot. So I'm prepping myself, and I've been prepping her for years about this, saying, because I remember as a kid, some of the winters were so bad that it's hard to believe we even survived them. And some of the happenstances during some of these winters were so horrible that it's a wonder, it didn't get scarred for life. So that's why I don't appreciate people talking about dark winters, that it's potentially coming up. I don't appreciate it at all, because some of the winters that I've lived through have been just enormously difficult, and that they were terrorizing in their own way, with a lot of near misses. And I think just the weather itself is enough of a worry without throwing other things around with it. So I just trying to get my 2 cents in about this constant fear mongering in the media. And I haven't watched a full news program, or even a few minutes of a news program, in, I don't know, probably 13 or 14 years. Now, yeah, I get clips of the news, certainly, and I read the headlines. It's hard to totally avoid it, but if you can not watch it on TV, I think you're going to be a lot better off. And I've been trying to get my mom to turn off the TV, and of course, it's like impossible, basically impossible, right? Because people who watch a lot of TV, it seems to me they kind of fall in love with watching TV, and it's impossible to get out of that habit. But man, once you break that TV habit, your life, you got a lot more time, and you don't have any fear over the things that they say to be afraid of. So I'm not afraid of the things that they say to be afraid of. Now, certainly I have worries and things, and I'm not crazy and stupid. I try to be careful, but I think the things I'm careful about are the normal common sense things that anybody should be worried about. So another thing that I wanted to talk about briefly was, this constant finding new problems to work on before we solve the old problems. So when I look around, there's all kinds of old problems that need attention, and we never can really get enough traction on trying to solve these old problems, because as soon as we get a little where with the old one, well, a new one starts, and now we got to focus all the effort on the new one, right? So in your own life, maybe try to get a little completion on an old problem before you work on the next one. You don't want to scatter your energy and your focus too much. So anyway, give that idea some thought, all for now.